and welcome to this edition of Freedom Lifestyle. I'm Ken Brown, CEO of Destiny Global. In this segment, what I want to talk to you about is getting back to those laws that I talked about several weeks ago. And then the last two really editions that we taught on were on the supporting things around your vision and your mindset, right? So your vision is setting your goals of what you're going to accomplish in 2022 and how you're going to get there, making sure you're planning out the resources, those people that can help you get there, and then your mindset. And that is overcoming the things that have stopped you from being successful in the past. And so the last two editions that we talked about, one was really getting rid of that stinking thinking. Is getting boundaries around your life to keep those things out that you want out and letting the things in. A boundary is used for two things. It's just what I just said, keeping things out, and you have a gate to let things in, which is your mind. Your mind. So your mindset is so important to your success. It is the one thing on this board that you can control completely, but it's hard to do it sometimes, right? When things get hard, you can just fall into patterns of thinking and thinking your worth is really low. And guess what law we're going to be talking about today? We're actually going to be talking about two of them. First one is value, and the second one is sowing and reaping. And they're actually very close to one another. And I'm going to explain that to you in just a moment. But when you start thinking about value, what does value mean to you? Think about it. What is value? So typically, if you look at the definition of value, it's something that brings a change that improves something in your life. So if you go to the grocery store and you buy food, you're getting something, you're going to be looking for a value of what that trade-off is between your money and what that item that you're buying brings you. So it's going to bring you health, it's going to fill your stomach, it adds nutrients to your body, it keeps you alive, it's sustenance. So there's a value to everything in life. There's also a value to you, right? What value you bring to someone else. And that's what I want to talk about. Chris, let's start over with that one. Remind me where I started. No, I started with reintroducing the other segment, right? The other session. So let's just wipe that segment. We'll start fresh. In this session today, we're going to be talking about two new laws. And these two new laws tie to the two laws that we talked about several weeks ago. And they actually support the last two sessions that we were talking about around really boundaries in your life, keeping things out that don't add value, and letting the things into your boundary that do add value, right? And a key part of that is how you're thinking, right? Your mindset. So that was really, we talked about these two laws several weeks ago. Vision, setting your direction for where you're going and how you're going to get there. The resources you're going to use, using people, having people help you, help you be accountable. And then your mindset, which is so important to your success. It is the one thing that can help you overcome wherever you're at. We gave several different examples of that. We specifically talked about a guy that's written in the history books in Egypt that was second only to Pharaoh. But remember, he started off in a jail cell and ended up second to Pharaoh. He did that because of his mindset and his belief and seeking favor from the Creator. And he got it because he was persistent and he kept plugging in and he got that value. Interesting how these are tied together, right? So his mindset started creating a value for him. His value is what he was contributing to other people. And the more that you contribute to the lives of others, you increase your value. That's what value is increasing something that you're bringing to someone that they're rewarding you for. So the more I teach you, the more that I help you, the more value I'm adding to you. So if you have a job, the more skills you have to perform that job better, the more you're going to get paid. That's a value. So we're going to spend some time around that, as well as the next law, which is sowing and reaping. These two kind of go hand in hand. Let me explain to you. So when you think about sowing and reaping, that's what you're doing to someone else, how you're treating someone, how you're doing your job. Because if you do that well, it will start coming back to you. This is a universal law. And sowing and reaping happens every single day. If you speak ill of someone, bad of someone, someone is going to be speaking ill of you because they're going to hear that. And what it causes is we call it the spiral of sin. I call it TBS, the toilet bowl syndrome. It's hard to stop once you start doing it because it's going to go all the way down, right? It just spirals out of control. So you really want to think about your actions and your deeds and how you're going about your day and performing, and really it relates back to value. So let's start off with value for a moment. So if I'm working in a job, whether I'm a farmer or whether I'm in a Fortune 500 company performing as a CEO, there's a value that I bring to the organization. And how you get from the bottom to the top is defined by what skills and your mindset that you bring to the table. So the skills are something you can absolutely control, and your mindset is something you can control. You can say, well, Ken, I work for this horrible company. I work for this. Those are all excuses. And excuses are well-planned lies. So if you're working in a job and it doesn't seem like you're working in a field and they're literally plowing and an oxen is pulling you behind it and you're doing it, figure out a way to do it more efficiently. Study and learn how to do your job better. The better you do your job, that's a new skill. That's an efficiency you bring. It helps you do something faster. It helps you do something better. And it leads to promotion. It directly leads to promotion because as you do more, people are going to say, hey, can you come and train the other people on what you just learned? And then that becomes a form of negotiation for you. So whether you're being paid in bartered or whether you're getting paid in dollars or ruples or whatever your currency is, you gives you a chance when you bring more skills to a job. The higher the skill, the more you get paid, the more you're valued, the more you're respected. Value affects your employer. It affects your family. It affects your friends. It affects everything around you. Your value. Yes, your value. Which goes back to also your mindset, is believing in yourself. See, if you don't believe in yourself, then you're not gonna go very far, because your attitude will determine your mindset as well as your value. Because if your attitude is really bad, you're not going to be productive. You're going to go into a job, you're not going to give it your all. And regardless of what your circumstances is and what you're facing, what your circumstances are and what you're facing, it all goes back to your attitude and how you're going to approach it. Because some things you can't control. The things that you can control are your attitude and gaining new skills. And you can do that every single day of your life. And as you add new skill, you're going to be affecting no matter what part of the company you're in, or if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're working for somebody as a farmer, this example I was giving, it doesn't matter. As you're adding those skills, you're increasing the productivity of whatever you're doing. So if you're farming, you're producing more crops. More crops means more money. That's how the world values things. It's universal. Across the world, value equals, in most people's minds, money, okay? How much am I going to earn? Value goes far beyond that. Goes far beyond that. That goes into the law of sowing and reaping. So if I'm helping someone else and I'm helping them gain new skills, guess what? Then it increases their skills and abilities to do the same job I was doing, that then drives the whole corporation, the whole farm, the whole business up, right? And it produces more money, more opportunities, because then you can buy more land. It increases your territory, which is so important. But I want to talk to you for just a moment about a story. This particular story is found in a book called Matthew. And in Matthew, in chapter 24, it talks about talents, right? Each person on earth has skills. You can call talent skills, or skills equals talents. Those are things that you're capable of doing. And it talks specifically about a master who had 3 employees underneath him. And he gave each one of them, to one he gave 5 talents. To one he gave 3. To one he gave 1. And what ended up happening is probably counterintuitive, but the master knew something. And let me explain. So he gave 5 to the one person who had the most talents. The person with the 5 talents turned it up and turned the 5 into 10. He began to gain skills. He used it. He invested. He got out there. He got more seed. He planted more. He did more. He made sure that it was being watered. He made sure things were growing. Interesting. The next one did the same thing and increased his talents. But the last one, the one that had one, he took and buried his talent. He did not go apply that talent because he was afraid if he lost it, that the master would be so angry with him. And in fact, the master was trying to teach him to take a chance and use his skill, to take that one and turn it into many. Some of you that are watching me right now, you have been beaten down in your life and you don't value yourself. You cannot value other people. You cannot value the job you're doing if you do not value yourself. So what value do you place on yourself? You ever thought about that? What are you doing for the people around you? Providing for them, loving them, encouraging them, helping them through hard times. That's value. Value is beyond the measure of money. It's a part of it, but a key part of it is what you're doing for others. And remember, our slogan at Destiny Global is earn more, keep more, to do more. So just because you earn more money and you're not spending it well, that goes back to sowing and reaping. See how these things are so integrally tied? Do you see what I'm trying to get across to you? They're all tied together. You don't want to just learn one law. You want to make these laws your own. And by the way, all of these laws are in this book called by Danny Johnson, First Steps to Wealth. All of them are in here. We read these. We're reading this book at home. My daughter is reading it to my wife and I. We go through it as a family. Yes, even the CEO of a company. Why? Because I need reminders of this and holds us accountable and just remembering the smallest of things, because as we get busy in day, we forget it. We get caught up in our attitudes and the bad situations that are going on around us, because certainly there are many. But if we can focus on the value that we bring in our mindset in sowing and reaping, the sky's your limit. The sky is your limit. It's your limit, right? So what goes into sowing and reaping? So if you're running around and you're complaining about someone constantly, if you're complaining about your boss, the person in charge of you, it's going to come back around, because people are going to you're going to turn the team possibly against that boss. That boss is going to hear of it, and then there's going to be actions that are results of it, because the team's productivity will drop. People will start losing their jobs. They will be punished for things they didn't do well. So the opposite of complaining is a positive attitude, saying regardless of what this person does to me, I'm going to do my job and I'm going to do it well. And I'm going to invest in myself and get skills. That's what so many people have done as a part of our organization. And when you think about what you can do every day to get a new skill, there are no excuses. There are no excuses. Someone to learn from. We have internet and access to technology like never before. Right? But more than that, you have people around you that you can learn from. Sit down, learn from your grandparents. Sit down, learn from your aunts and uncles. Learn from your coworkers. You're going to find someone around you that does something that you do better that can help you improve your skills. That's why it says iron sharpens iron. Man can make man better if we invest in each other. And that indeed pours back sowing and reaping. As you sow and you give more of yourself, other people give you more because they're seeing what you're doing. It attracts people to you. That's where the word charisma comes from, drawing to and creating excitement about something. And then it gets them excited about your vision and helping you accomplish your goals, which increases your value. Who in their right mind would not want to add more value to their employer, to their family? Because it's increasing your wealth. And let's face it, at the end of the day, if you use your resources well, you earn more, you keep more of it because you're not going out and spending it. Right? That's part of sowing and reaping. Let's talk about sowing and reaping as seeds. So if I take let's say I'm producing apples, and I take the apples and we eat all the apples, throw the seeds away. Instead of saving part of those apples, taking the seeds and planting those seeds, because one apple is not just one seed, it's many. It has many seeds inside. So if you take what you need to live off of and you invest the other, you start saving it. You start putting it towards your goals and your dreams. And when you do that, you start watching all of your life improve, because you're taking care of your necessities over here and you're investing in your future, the family of your future, your legacy. Some of you are saying, that sure seems simple. Well, it's simple, but it's not always easy. Okay? The law is simple, but how to do it sometimes is going to take discipline in your life, and that goes back to boundaries, which we spoke about. You have to put those things in your life and making sure that you're putting things aside. So you're taking care of your core necessities, but then you're investing. You're always setting something aside. Right? We teach that as well. We call it the 70-10-10-10. 70% towards your necessities, 10% towards your debt, 10% towards wealth, and 10% in giving back to others to do more. Call it a tithe. And all these are so important because that begins to get you aligned with the Creator. And when you're aligned, there is nothing that can stop you, because greater is He that is within you than he that is in the world. And I'm a living testimony to that. A living testimony. The more skills I gained, the more promotions I got. At EDS, the company where I started out of college, promoted 7 times because of increased skill. And the greatest skill was learning how to motivate and manage people. There's no greater skill. So, and that means difficult people as well. That's not just the easy people. It's not an easy thing to do to manage a lot of people. But as you learn to do that better and help motivate them, understand what's going on in their life, and teach them these same principles I'm teaching you, it begins to transform not only the person, it becomes a culture of winning. It creates a culture where people want to be a part of it. And when they do it, and that's the movement that we're doing and creating together. It's about freedom. It's all about freedom. And it doesn't matter if you think that you're in bondage, then you're going to be in bondage, right? You can be in bondage, not physically, some of you, but more of it could be worse than that because you're in financial bondage, which means that you, and some of you don't even see it. You're living paycheck to paycheck, and some months the money is longer than the month. And that's a bad place to be, because then you're saying that you owe them something and you weren't able to meet that obligation, which then puts you in a serious situation. As you keep continuing missing that, it places you in danger of losing something you have, or someone filing something against you to get their money, to get whatever you owe them. So it's very important that as you start learning and gaining skill, that you're following the rules of discipline of sowing and reaping. Because also, by the way, if you pay your bills on time, guess what? The law of sowing and reaping, people will begin to pay you on time. You have to hold things accountable. You can't just set it out there. You have to put rules and boundaries in place to make sure that people that owe you something are paying, but help them find out what's going on in their life. Begin to pour into them. Have I done that before? Absolutely. Absolutely. Learn to invest in people. When you start thinking about how does the heavens, how does our Creator, how does God value people? Well, let me tell you something plain and simple. He loves people more than anything. There is nothing more valuable on earth than people, than you. And the Creator says that you're of value, then my friends, you are valued, because no one can take that away from you. This is an anchoring thought, because if God values you, that He's above everything. Above everything. Every king, every master, every boss, every president, every prime minister. One day, all will bow their knee before the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He alone is the Lord. He will not be mocked. And so what He tells you are these fundamental truths I'm teaching you. Because why? How do I know these are true? They're universal around the world. Right? When a person is gaining skill, when they have a clear vision, when they have the right mindset, when they're increasing their value, and they're sowing and reaping, it sets everything free in your life to have the life you want. A life that you dreamed about, that you did not think is possible, it is. And it doesn't matter if you've got $10 or if you've got $10 million. It's still working and doing and pouring into people and doing more, right? Because if you help more people, guess what? More people are going to want to help you. And by the way, that's a saying of Zig Ziglar. If you want to be successful, help people around you accomplish their goals, and you indeed will accomplish yours. So I want to challenge you I want you to think through this. What skills are you set out to gain every week? This doesn't happen by chance. So what skills are you setting out to gain every week to do your job better, to serve better? What are you doing? It's a simple question. Think about it. Get those as part of your daily routine of how you're investing in yourself. We have tools here at our company to help you. There's other resources that are available through numerous sources. I mean, the internet is full of them, as well as people that are around you that can help you. Don't forget to ask, because people love sharing. They love help. People, it's inherent to most people that when they really know that you want to improve and help them and help their cause, right, in a business, when you do that, they're going to go, wow, this person's really getting it. And it's going to start it'll turn a bad relationship into a good one as well. I personally had that. I've done that to someone that I work for, and someone's done that to me that's worked for me, because they realized they weren't living up to the job that they were given. They were given a job description and they weren't meeting it. When they began to meet that job description, then they were given more responsibility and more and more. And the fact is when you do that, you're starting the process of sowing and reaping, because you're sowing good. When you sow good, remember, if you plant the field, if you still take that one apple and you invest it and you plant those seeds, you're going to get more apple trees. You're going to get more apples, which is called a bounty. So as you do more, your bounty will increase. And you want to have many, many investments in your life, planting those seeds of opportunity. And I do that through investing in people. How do you do that? There's lots of ways to do it. Some people use cryptocurrency. Some people do stock. I do some of those as well. But my main source of wealth that has been created is investing in people and helping them accomplish their dreams. And as they do that, I've benefited so miraculously, and even things going on in my life right now that are unbelievable. But I had to gain new skills to do that. I had to learn how to help people. I had to go outside my comfort zone. I had to learn about things that I had no knowledge of before. Gain skill in them. You can do the same thing. You are no different than me. You have value. You are valued. And as you sow into people, they will begin to tell other people, and they will start sowing to those people. Those other people will come to you and want to join you for your cause. I've had this happen countless times. And by the way, that's how this company was really built, of Destiny Global. By people that we invested in, they would bring other people to us to invest in them and increase their own value of their own businesses, of their own family. This is how it's done. And so I encourage you today to really look at your value and see what skills you can add. And be sure that you're practicing the law of sowing and reaping, and knowing if you're complaining, you have a complaining spirit, that is not going to go well. If you have an attitude or a spirit of gratitude, of gratefulness, no matter how little you have or how much you have, a spirit of gratitude, count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Every one of you have something you can be thankful for. A roof over your head, food on your table, shoes on your feet. Some of you, it's large bank accounts. It's whatever you're looking at, but the more you do, the more you're going to get in return. But do it unto others as you would do it unto yourself, right? Don't give it with a grudging heart, or do it with somebody owes you something, because those are different cultures around the world. Some of them expect that. So if I do something for you, you owe me. Do it without an owing mentality. Do it out of grace and love, because love conquers everything. When I talked about Joseph's love for others, to help them, it was inherent. It's inherent in each of you. Some of you have just pushed that down. Why are some of our coaches in our program doing so well? Because they love helping other people have breakthroughs in their lives. You can do the same thing. You can do the same thing by applying these laws to your life. And thank you for joining this episode, and I look forward to seeing you soon.